What's up, folks? So for this week's vlog, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into masculinity and how my personal perception of it has definitely evolved over time, both on a personal level, but also being in a same-sex relationship. And I guess the main kind of inspiration from this topic kind of came when I was doing my get ready with me and doing my makeup on camera, and how comfortable I've become sharing certain aspects. And if you just compare it with like 7 years ago when I first started making YouTube videos, that would have been probably the last thing I would have expected to show on my channel. So yeah, I just wanted to create more of an open dialogue with you guys, you know, regarding different topics around masculinity, not necessarily just one aspect of masculinity, but more in a holistic sense. So, you know, we'll see what this video is about. I honestly have no idea. I just wanted to start talking about things. So we'll take it from there. I think we're heading to the gym right now. So to start off the vlog, we're gonna be heading to the gym right now. We're gonna do like a pull / accessory day. I'm honestly not too sure what it's gonna look like. What you doing? What you doing? Where's Ryan? Where's Ryan? Hello, sir. Would you like to go to the gym? Alright, so quick change of plans. We were not able to get a gym session currently, so we're just gonna go later in the day and probably go for a bike ride right now because it's really nice out. Hi, Jasper. You have a good sleep? Nah. Alright, let's go meet your friends. Go get Ryan. Jasper's patiently waiting. Oh, who is it? Go. Look at this guy. Yay, buddy. Parkour. How's your workout going?
I've successfully become the Dorito.
Dorito?
The Dorito.
What is the Dorito? Explain to us. Wow. Just look at that Dorito. That's a Dorito if I ever saw one. Good work.
A little bit.
Oh. Alright, so when it comes to working out, specifically in the gym setting, I think traditionally it was viewed as a very hyper-masculine activity, especially with the whole emergence of the bodybuilding culture in the 90s. But I think when you look at it from a more broader perspective, when it comes to overall health and wellness and personal well-being, that in and itself has no gender restriction. Like, it should be something idealized by everyone. Not necessarily looking a certain way or attaining a certain physique, but becoming healthier in your own body. That, I believe, is truly universally flattering. And nowadays, you definitely do see more variety in a gym setting. Typically, it was like this like toxic boys club only mentality, but now you see a wide variety of different people. But even then, you know, from my personal experience working as a trainer in the health and wellness industry, the first thing that female clients would say is that, yes, I want to look more toned and I want to be more fit, but I don't want to get too bulky or too masculine. You know, when it comes to overall body image, it's definitely a complex issue. But when historically the bodybuilding industry has been associated with weightlifting, it's no surprise that people associate weightlifting and resistance training as a masculine activity. But let me be clear, if there's one takeaway you get away from this video, is that health and wellness has no gender, which is super ironic because women are at a higher risk for osteoporosis and just bone degeneration, and the best thing to slow down that decrease in bone mineral density is by resistance training and doing activities with axial loading. I'm not saying you have to work out at the gym, but everyone, as they start to age, should do some sort of weight-bearing activity 2 to 3 times a week. That could even be walking, that could be doing simple exercises at home. But I do hope that as we continue to progress as a society, that one thing we can really disassociate with gender is wellness and just personal well-being. So yeah, I don't know. Tastes like grass. Like good grass though, not like poopy grass. Okay, let's go get some food. Look at what we have here. Got some ramen. Look at this. Yeah, it's really good. Thanks. Thank you. Alright, so now the plan is to just take it easy for the rest of the night. We're meeting our friends who also live in the building at the rooftop, enjoy a nice glass of wine, and let's take it easy.
Pinot Noir Argyle from Oregon.
Oh, hello. How are you doing, buddy?
How it's working.
Barbecues for dummies. You old baby.
Hello, Jasper. This is our grill setup for the time being until we actually get a barbecue. Goodness, look how pretty these things are. Wow. What do you think between the association between food, cooking, and masculinity?
Well, I actually chose this vegetable for that occasion because I knew that when I was going to cut it, it was going to look like a flower, and I wanted to resemble masculinity at its truest form, which is
grilling,
delicately vulnerable on a grill.
Yes. There is a link, right? Like, I think people really assume grilling meats with like this masculine,
or I feel like that's the culture behind grilling, right? Like grilling is like standing behind something, turning burgers, drinking beer, having the guys there. It's like one of the only cooking that guys do, and food and culture are so collectively intertwined.
Yeah,
it's like that's really the only essence of male culture with food is
grilling.
Like, I mean, women carry culture of like cooking generally, so when a man's on a grill handling a fire or handling a barbecue or whatever it is.
I think that's also really interesting because one of the first things when I told people that I was going to eat a predominantly plant-based diet was that men need to eat meat. So there is some sort of like association between meat and masculinity, and that probably came from like, you know, like Neanderthals and cavemen. When it came to like hunting, it would, you know, be a sign of strength and masculinity. These are delicious. What do you think about the way that we divvied up kind of our housework? Because obviously, like, there weren't stereotypical gender roles.
I've never been in an opposite sex relationship where like it's been this
like living together.
Householdy.
Yeah, that's true.
We do the tasks that we know we have time for.
Yeah, like it makes sense because I'm more at home. It makes sense for me to do the like a lot of the cleaning and, you know, some of the like little errands that needs to get done.
Yeah, but then like I know how to cook better, so I do more of the cooking and the grocery.
I think that queer people have maybe more experiences where they actually think about their masculinity versus straight people. Like straight people, obviously they think about their masculinity and like how manly they are. There's a big hierarchy in the gay community where masculine guys are so sought after, and then feminine guys are seen lesser than, which, you know, goes back to the whole misogynistic culture that we live in. Whether you're in the hetero world or the queer world, like manly men are still seen as the top of the hierarchy. There was that like big debate when, was it Harry Styles, who wore a dress for the cover of a magazine, and then people were like, "Dude, not a man, bring manly man back," and I'm just like, dude, like, who cares?
Conservatives got me drinking again.
Lord have mercy. All right, folks, that's pretty much it for tonight. Tomorrow is a busy day because I got a podcast to do, as well as you guys are going to see a special guest. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, folks. So we have got a busy morning today. I got a couple meetings. So, we're just going to do a quick get ready with me, because although the meetings are online, I still want to look my best. I already put my SPF on this morning. This is just a little bit of tinted moisturizer. First meeting is literally in 10 minutes, so we gotta make this a little bit snappy. But yeah, like I mentioned before, when I was doing my makeup in my previous vlog, I just, had this moment of realization of really how far I've, come with being comfortable, doing certain things. Because when I used to wear makeup, maybe 10 years ago to cover my acne, I wasn't necessarily self-conscious about the makeup itself, but more so what people would think and like what people would say if they like caught me wearing makeup. It's weird, when actors or television hosts and famous people in the media, they put on makeup, it's normalized. But when, average Joes like myself want to do it, it's somehow deemed as this like hyper feminine thing. I have this little mark over here, so I'm just gonna use a bit of concealer and maybe over here. Yeah, it's just so stupid how things like taking care of yourself or hygiene is somehow gendered. Like, I've heard some guys say, "Oh, I don't clip my nails using a nail clipper, I just bite them off," because using nail clippers are somehow gay and feminine. When did things like hygiene become not a masculine thing to do, like taking care of yourself? That was some MAC strobe cream, by the way. Tiny bit blush. At the end of the day, if you want to, make yourself look nicer, just so you feel a bit more confident in yourself, then go ahead. You're not hurting anybody. Like, who gives two shits what I put on my face? Like, is that bothering you? No. I finish it off with some lip balm. Let's get ready to do this podcast. First, I'm going on Dr. Leah Tidy's podcast. She is a sexual health educator. She is super smart. She has her PhD. Plus, some of you guys may actually know her husband. So I'm very excited for this conversation.
Honestly, I wrote that I'm a little starstruck because you and Levi have been YouTube buddies for a while, but I'm like, oh, yeah. I get to talk to Joe? Anyway, I'm super cool, super chill, so. All right. So can you tell me just a bit about yourself and why you started your YouTube channel about being less shitty?
My name's Joe. I'm a content creator based in Vancouver. But my background is actually in kinesiology, which is like a fancy word for exercise science. That's when I really realized how holistic wellness is. It's not just about one aspect, but all of these other aspects together. So that's where the whole be less shitty came from. It's not just being perfect at one of these aspects. And that the lingo is more so my vocabulary, because my videos are very casual, laid back, and self-improvement is just not a word that I would personally use. I think it's a little bit cringy, so just be less shitty.
It's funny, that actually is such a good motto that I want to bring into sexual health, because I think there's so many people who, when they're trying to figure out who they are, their sexual orientation, but also when they're trying to be sexual with someone for the first time, they're okay, I need to be perfect, or
as long as there's a separation between not talking about the bowel movement, because a couple people have mentioned that, but more so in the metaphorical aspect.
Metaphorical, oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
It wasn't about specifically your relationship and really personal life. So how has that been navigating that, right?
Because my vlogs are essentially my life, just put in chronological order. It was kind of difficult to not share that aspect of it and just kind of keep that hidden. And to an extent, I felt that, I was being dishonest if I was keeping that aspect totally separate. But I was very clear to my audience that I didn't want to turn it into another couple channel. I feel that couple channels, you know, they're great, and a lot of other people definitely get a lot of enjoyment out of them, and they see themselves in their relationship. At the same time, it puts a lot of strain if the sole basis of your content is based on your relationship, because no relationship is perfect. So I made it pretty clear that this was not going to be a couple channel, but at the same time understanding that our relationship is something that isn't, you know, normative, and it's important that we talk about it, especially because I do have a platform. So I'm definitely sharing more and more, and just getting more into that social aspect of being less shitty.
I guess I want to talk about first, like, let's go back to the beginning, if you feel comfortable sharing that with me. Like, when did you figure out that you were bi?
For myself, I didn't necessarily know that I was bi initially. Growing up, my family is very Korean, kind of typical Christian household. So I obviously knew what being, you know, attracted to the opposite sex was, not necessarily in the most positive light.
What are we raised to believe? And if we're not even able to have conversations about sexual health in our homes, which is so many of my listeners have had that experience. Like when they call in, they're like, based on, you know, religious views or ethnicity or just where you grow up, like, and all of like, so many people have all of this like shame and stigma around sex, even when it comes to, as you said, like even like heterosexual sex, much less talking about anything outside of that. But I wonder, like, have people asked you like similar things about being like formerly bisexual because now that you're in a relationship with Ryan?
Oh man, there's been so many comments, especially on TikTok, because TikTok is definitely a younger demographic. So I just wonder if it is like a genuine naiveness. I saw a little thread of comments in another person's video where it was like, oh, Joe and Ryan are a bi couple. And then people were commenting like, oh, that makes sense why they're not so lovey-dovey on camera. Or it's more like a temporary relationship because they're bi. There was another one where I was talking about how being bi, yes, to some people it can be a stepping stone to coming out as gay, but to other people it's not. And a lot of people do think of it as a stepping stone. And there was a comment where they said no one would choose to be gay if they had the other option of being hetero because it's easier that way. So I was like, wow, people think in just different ways. Oh no, my dirty laundry's in the back.
See, I curated my background, right? Like I even have
I like the little vagina leaf, or the vulva, yeah.
Here. Oh no, I'm having oh there we go. So I'm Dr. Leah Tidy, and I'm a sexual health educator. But yeah, just people know me as Leah or like the love doctor, things like that. So yeah, sexual health educator who also does theater, because why not?
Amazing. Perfect. All right, so just finished up the podcast with Leah. That honestly was probably the most I've opened up about my personal sexuality. But I thought it was very fitting for this vlog, especially because we are talking about masculinity and everything is so related. But yeah, that was good. The podcast is live by the time you guys are watching this, so make sure you guys go check it out. But yeah, I have my next call in about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna get ready for that one. Jasper! Hi, buddy. Hi, you're wondering where I went? I was here all this time. What's up? The entire vlog is kind of talking about masculinity, not necessarily just in like one aspect, but I was talking about, you know, health and wellness. Partner talked about cooking and that kind of like gender role aspect. For you, who identifies as non-binary, kind of how has your perception of masculinity, you know, what's your relationship with it, and how has it kind of changed over time?
When I was younger, I identified first as a gay male, and then I came out. And I think like because of how I think now people are talking about, you know, gender fitness and being non-binary. Well, personally, I think the term in my head, masculinity, anything logically, is like as much as we try to redefine it, it's redundant. Like even if there's traditional masculine roles, the word masculine is traditional. Masculinity is always gonna be in power. Like it's always regarded as better, just the way the world is.
Right, like misogyny and kind of how it revolves around that, yeah.
Exactly, and so there's not really like a bad masculine trait unless you categorize it as toxic masculinity, right? Yeah. I don't associate myself that way, so it is perceived that I am a man.
Right.
So, way for me to like kind of like break away from that for myself.
Alright folks, so there you have it. We talked about a lot of different topics regarding masculinity in this vlog, you know, how masculinity affects health and wellness, cooking, food culture, gender roles, you know, when it comes to sexual identity, but also gender expression. A lot of different topics, but I think the take-home message for myself is that, you know, everyone has their own interpretation and relationship of masculinity, and if that doesn't affect you and it doesn't hurt you, then stop giving a fuck about what other people decide to do with their own interpretation of masculinity, because it really doesn't affect you. Like, it really just doesn't fucking affect you. So just mind your own business, live your life, and just, you know, do you. That's pretty much it for this week's vlog. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on your relationship and your view on masculinity and how that has changed over time in the comment section down below. I'm gonna leave the social links for Leah and also Ivan in the description box, so make sure you guys check them out. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and remember to be less shitty. Thanks, guys.